Hey, good morning. Tom here, Sunday morning. I got a text at the end of actually early evening yesterday, and found out that my tile guys who were supposed to start tomorrow ended up starting yesterday without telling me. And they had access to the property because, you know, I had already given them the combo to get in. So anyways, I find out at the end of the day yesterday that my tile guys began 2 days early without telling me. And so my concern is that they're not taking care of the floors, the thin set. They sent me a bunch of pictures. They thought they were giving me good news, which it is a little bit of good news, but the bad part about it is I needed to lay them out before they got started. Now, they haven't started setting any tile yet, but they're going to. But anyways, so I'm on my way out there, but I thought, you know, we'd talk about some career stuff. It's funny, I bumped into a guy at Starbucks here a little while ago, and he's actually, anyhow, he's actually really popular, real popular on a YouTube channel right now. And fit guy, you'd know him instantly. I'm not going to bring him up just because I didn't say I'd talk to him about anything. But we were talking about careers and how many you can have. He's the same age as me and done quite a few other things. And, you know, it's funny. You know, I started in a cabinet shop. You know, I worked for a guy for about a month, or not a month, about 18 months or less. And he went out of business, and then I started my company. And then 9 years, 8 months later, you know, I've sold my company, and I've already accumulated about $1 million worth of real estate, which is one of the reasons, you know, I know everybody, you know, you get talking about careers and getting started on things, you know, and a lot of people say, you know, specialize, you know, and get good at, you know, good at something. And I think that's good, but today more and more you got to be real careful about, you know, getting good at something that competition can't take over. You know, even my daughter is becoming a CPA, and you know, there's a lot of smart folks over in India that can do our books, you know, and do your taxes now, and so you could get killed by the, you know, by how much cheaper it is to get things done over there. But, you know, number one, I just want to talk to you about, you know, it's what you do with your money. It's what you do with your money that's going to make you wealthy. And I don't care if it's a little bit of money or a lot of money, you know, because it all starts from a seed. But the main thing is you got to know that it's available to you, it's out there, and you know, that's why I say flip anything, and you just got to know that it's there and that it can be done. But then next, you got to take action. You got to take action. And so, you know, I know, like I say, it can be something as small as flipping comic books or something, whatever's going to give you the confidence and actually to create more wealth that you can, you know, parlay it into more and more and more. You know, I think that's the way to go. It's funny, I don't know, it's funny, I reached out to a guy. There's a guy that I knew when I was a kid. I probably bought 10 cars from him. He had a little car lot called Looks and Runs Well. Looks and Runs Well. Little dirt car lot on the side of the highway, but he was turning about 200 cars a month. And he was making, you know, anywhere from, I don't know, $200 to $500 a car. But I think I would buy cars from him. I think the most expensive car I ever bought from him was $1,300. And this is like 30-something years ago. But he knew there was a market. In fact, he would take the cars. Think about, you know, and finding a niche. Finding a niche is a great thing, a really good thing. You know, if you can find a little niche company that's small enough that the big guys, it's too small for the big guys to mess with, but it can be small enough and lucrative enough that you're there all by yourself without much competition. So that's also kind of a good thing. You know, a lot of people talk about, oh, just import something. The problem with, and believe me, I have an office in Taiwan, okay, and a full-time employee in Taiwan, and I have another kind of a part-time one in China, and let me tell you, it sucks. You know, imports, they have zero loyalty to you. in China. From, you know, if you don't get it in writing, forget it. And I've sued Chinese companies, believe me. It's, the word means zero, nothing at all. In fact, they'll promise you the moon, but then you say, okay, let's put it in writing. Oh, yeah, then they don't want to do it. And that's because they don't mean it. They're insincere. And, you know, something I always say, you know, you test sincerity with the wallet. If people mean what they say, they're going to put their money up. And that's what when I go in to buy a property, same thing. I always put a deposit down. And a lot of times it's just to push away the guys that are trying to get in with no money, which, you know, that could be some of you guys. I understand that. And it used to be me, I know. But testing sincerity by the wallet, or testing sincerity by putting it in writing, you know, it means a lot more. But you know, this business of you know, you're going to find something to import from Alibaba. The problem is you know, unless you have exclusive contracts and you got the wallet to back it up, meaning you can afford to sue people that don't keep their word, it can be a real bitch. In fact, it's kind of a rule of thumb when you get into those kinds of lawsuits with other companies. You know, you can sue a company that's worth as much as you, or maybe 3 or 4 times as much as you. But when you get a company that's worth 10 times more than you, or more than your company, you're probably not going to be able to survive the battle, to be honest. So you got to pick your battles carefully, and pick who you do business with carefully too, to be quite honest. But you know, in the beginning, you know, it's not like you can't find something and make money on it. But what I found in China is that, you know, there's just absolutely zero loyalty. You know, they'll just tell you whatever you want to hear. It means nothing. You know, you know, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but you gotta have it in writing. And but you know, that's not to say everybody in China is, you know, their word's no good. But you know what? If they don't put it in writing, then just assume that their word is no good. Because if you don't feel good enough about, you know, saying if you say you're going to do something, you're not willing to put it in writing. I mean, look, you don't mean it. You don't mean it. You know, it's one thing to say, hey, you know, I'll do my best. You know, but again, it's not the same. It's not the same. And you know, I can't stand people that will say things that could easily be put in writing, and then when you hold them to the task, say, okay, let's write it up, and then they don't, because really, it's almost like an admission that they're a liar. And so, you know, and I'll tell you, if you've done enough things, you've been in business long enough, you'll never be surprised at how low people will go, and how disgusting people are, and how and I'm not trying to be real negative, because I know a lot of great people, a lot of great friends, and that I can trust, and I have a lot of friends that have trusted me, you know, even more than I'm like blown away how much they trust me with, you know, with wealth, and also with, you know, different things, but I can be trusted. So and you want to be that guy. You want to be, obviously, you want to keep your word. You want to do things, anyways, but. So I'm never surprised when I see people go extremely low, backstab, certain things like that. I've seen, not just to me, but to other people, and you know, it's terrible. But you just got to be, you know, it's like trust but verify, right? Just trust but verify. You can't, you know, and that's business. You know, that's just business. And you know, it's your responsibility as a business person, really, to protect yourself. You know, protect your stockholders if you have stockholders, or really, you know, your family are your shareholders, right? Because they're living off you, they depend on you. So you really can't take chances that could devastate you, let's say. So we're kind of jumping all over the subject here, but you know, back to the career stuff. What I want to tell you is, it really matters what you do with your money. It doesn't matter if, you know, what you do for a living. I think I mentioned the other day on a live broadcast, you know, I had a tenant rented from me for 12 years. One day said, hey, Mr. Tom, I'm moving out, thanks. He said, you know, I'm moving to this other little town, and he bought, you know, he paid cash. He was, you know, and this guy didn't make a lot of money. He worked his ass off all the time, that I know. But he went and paid cash for a little gas station convenience store, and I hadn't seen him since. But you know, that's a neat story. But that guy had a plan, and his plan was just sock his money away, and then he found the right opportunity and bought something. And you know, if you want to fast track it, then I'm telling you what you got to do is you got to buy and turn, buy and turn. You know, it's like my old buddy Hank, the fireman, told me. He said, "Tom, you can never get hurt taking a profit." And his point was, you got a property, you bought it, you can resell it and make some money, because, you know, just sell it, get the money. Now, if you can afford to hold property for a long time, that's a little different, because it's tougher, you know, when you got land and taxes and things that, you know, property that just sits there and costs you money to hold. And I've done it, I do it, but I can afford to do it because I've created enough little engines, as like Jeff said the other day, that I got these little engines always working, making money. And I got a couple of big ones, I got some small ones, and, you know, hopefully the small ones end up turning into big ones. But that's what I always say. So, you know, get that little engine running for you, meaning create some source of income. You know, like Chaz said the other day, you know, he flipped three pieces of land, and he's got $200 a piece a month coming in on each one of those. And those are notes. Eventually they're going to disappear, but in the meantime, he's got $600 a month coming in. And I totally relate to that, because that's what I did. And then pretty soon it was 10 grand a month, then 20, then 30, then 40, then 50,000 a month coming in, and more. And so that's great, because it gives you the opportunities to take, you know, to actually, if you want to take some risks. Like me messing with software and apps, that's probably a risk, okay? Because it's not my background. It's not where I'm strong. It's not like I can jump on the computer and fix the code, or go in there and, you know, in fact, you know, there's so many bullshitters that misrepresent their level of experience when you go to hire software people, that it's absolutely frightening and terribly disgusting, because you'll get guys that, you know, they can talk pretty good, but, you know, really you need somebody to vet them. Because if you don't know enough about what you're doing, you really can't determine right away that somebody is good or bad. And so actually I can really probably appreciate an engineering placement service now, or, you know, if they do vet them well. In fact, I was looking for one the other day, and I found a company, but their deal is they want to charge you $500, and they say, yeah, and if you don't like the engineer, you know, we'll give you your money back. And I'm thinking, well, hell, you go place me somebody first. I'm going to give you $500 in advance to go try to find someone, because the technology changes so much that sometimes it's difficult to find somebody that has the level of experience. Because, you know, like right now there's a thing called React, which is like, I guess it's becoming the preferred way to create apps in Android. And you know, before it was Angular or Ruby on Rails, and, you know, and I don't know much about these things. I know the names because I've dealt with developers that have expertise in these areas. And but anyways, so sometimes, but it goes to the point, you got to be careful. Like, I know we're trying to get you guys, you know, up on real estate. Like I say, if you go in, if you don't feel confident that you kind of know what you're doing, you're probably in danger. So you have to get the confidence. Like, that's why I say you study what properties are worth in your neighborhood, and you'll know the values better than anyone. And then that way, when a deal comes up, you'll quickly recognize and know it. But you have to do the work. I mean, that's the sad part, folks, is that you have to invest the time to understand what you're doing. Now, if you're not comfortable with real estate, or maybe that's a little bit outside your financial capabilities to play with right now, it doesn't matter. You know, focus on things, some things of value. You know what I mean? All you got to do is look around and see what's for sale, or, you know, everybody needs to buy something at some point. And that's kind of what I've done, or kind of, you know, with tools and stuff. I've looked for tools that I'm going to buy for myself, and while I'm looking for that, you know, you pretty soon, you know, like looking for a bike or a motorcycle, or in my case, looking at lathes and mills. Pretty soon I know what the market is, because, yeah, okay, you know, a mill that's, say, 5-10 years old, you know, cost 200 grand new, and, you know, I can get some used ones for 75,000 to 100,000, depending on how many hours they've been run. So, you know, or with a car, it could be how many miles are on it, right? So, but eventually I kind of know what the value is of that item that I'm looking for, and then I make my decision to buy it, right? So once you've done all that work, why stop there? In other words, you figured out what the market is on that particular item, and now you buy it because you need it for your own needs. But why not keep looking now? Keep looking for that same product. Just keep looking for it. And then pretty soon you'll find one that's even at a much better deal than what you had paid. And now you know you can buy it and you can just turn it. You can flip it for more. You know, skateboards. Me and my boys, I took up skateboarding about 5 years ago, and I quit it about 2 years after. I took a pretty hard fall, and I said, oh yeah, I don't need this. I can't, the risk reward is not there for me. So, but it was a lot of fun. But, you know, skateboards are expensive, man. You buy nice ones. I think I had a little thing called a land yacht, and man, I loved it. It was fun. Big cruiser. And, but anyways, again, I could probably concentrate on buying used skateboards, you know, and buy a $300 skateboard for, you know, $50 or $70 and resell it for, you know, $150. There's just a lot of options out there on things. It's unlimited. I mean, just think about the things that are consumed all the time. You know, what I would say though is, you know, you want to concentrate on things that are on the smaller side that are valuable. But it doesn't have to be that way. You know, it could be a tractor. You know, I had one of my concrete guys, we wanted to borrow some money. He had an opportunity, I think, to buy three Bobcats from another guy that was retiring. And I said, sure, and I loaned him the money. And then he, you know, as soon as he sold one of those tractors, I think he paid me back the money that he owed me. But he pretty much made his profit on that one machine that paid for everything else that he had. And then he still had two more, and he told me, oh, you should buy this one. And I should have, really. Bobcat's a heck of a nice machine to have, actually. I like backhoes because you can go in and you can dig out. But at the same time, you know, I can tell you, the Bobcats are pretty fun. They turn on a dime. They're very tight. They're low, too. They work in tight quarters. Much better than a backhoe like I got. If you have to work under trees and things. But anyway, I'm getting close. I'm sure the connection's getting more terrible. So, anyways, I'm heading to the lake, and I'm going to shoot a little video on the tile that's going on there. I'm not going to do that live because it won't come out. The cell service is not so good out here. But anyways, so I guess I'll cut it here. And anyways, just trying to share and chat about the career stuff. And like I say, it's been, you know, what I've determined is it's really not what you do, it's what you do with your money that really makes the difference. Because, you know, if you're making 100 grand a year or 300 grand a year, you know, look, 300 grand a year, you know, that's, you're going to make $3 million in 10 years, right? And then taxman's going to take half of that. It really, you know, it's significant, I guess, if you save every penny. But really, you could make, you know, $40,000 a year, and just, you know, just parlay a little piece of that into something that builds. That's your seed grown into a big, massive money tree. And really, so that's the main thing, because like I always tell you, it's the deal. It's the deal. That's what everybody needs. They need the deal. The deal's what you make the big profit on. Let's see, what do you got here? What's a fair rate to rent out? Sorry, man, didn't catch the last half of that. You'd have to ask it again. But to be honest, you know, whatever, if you're looking for rate of return, you know, it's all kind of relative. To me, I like to double my money. I'm going to buy something small, $100, $200, $300, $400. I don't even do it that often, but I mean, you know, I don't like to mess with anything unless I can at least make a few $100s on it. And you know, but I mean, if you can turn it quickly, I mean, if you can buy something and turn it immediately, then, you know, who cares? Make $50 on something, you know. But it's that initial putting your money out, you know, that's what you got to consider. That's for you to determine. How much money do I want to make on my money? And of course, I expect to make a lot higher return if I'm, you know, on a small amount of money than I would on a large amount of money. On a large amount of money, you know, I'd be happy to make, okay, what do you say here? Okay. Federate to rent out a Bobcat. Oh, let me tell you. Okay, good. That's a good question, actually. You know what? I have property, and I have, you know, I live on 3 acres anyways. So I actually move a little bit of dirt around fairly often on my own property. You know, just for whatever reason, play. We'll make ramps and jumps for my kids and their bikes or whatever. You know, or you know, I have options like that. Yeah, but or you know, run it over to one of my properties, and I know how to operate it. But if you don't operate a Bobcat all the time, yeah, if you don't operate a Bobcat all the time, what you do, go rent it. I mean, rent it with the operator, because there's so many guys that own a Bobcat, and they'll come over there. They don't want to rent out their equipment because they're afraid you're going to jack it up. But for the, you know, you can get a Bobcat operator and his Bobcat sometimes for less than what you would pay to rent a Bobcat for, you know, from the local rent house. So for me, rather than go rent a Bobcat, you know, at an equipment rental place, I'll just find a guy that has a Bobcat, and that way I get the Bobcat and the owner. I don't have any responsibility whatsoever. Just tell him what I need done. He's going to get on there. He's going to work 3 times faster than I am because he operates it all the time, so it's much faster. And so yeah, when you're going to rent a Bobcat, man, just rent it. Don't go rent it yourself. Yeah, it's fun, but you're not going to be nearly as good at it, and you're not going to get moved near the dirt or level things nearly as nicely as you would with a guy that you know, owns it and operates it. So, but yeah, I don't. And you know, I don't like loaning out my equipment. You know, I have a Bobcat. Usually I tell people if they want to borrow my Bobcat, if they really know how to operate the equipment, I say, yeah, go ahead. But if they don't, I say, you know what, let me come run it for you. Let me take care of it for you. And I'll go over there and I'll just dig the hole or whatever they need done. I just do it myself. Just because I don't want, you know, I'm happy to do it as a favor anyways, but I don't want somebody to accidentally hurt somebody, themselves, or my machine. So, in all honesty, I'm probably going to sell my backhoe just because I don't use it that often anymore. And like I said, I got plenty of people that work for me that do have their own equipment. But you know, there's a lot of ways to make money, like I said. But you know, just take a path. You know, take a new path. You know, it's like I say, you know, pretty soon you'll be 50, 60, or whatever, and you're going to realize how many different things you've done over your, you know, a period of time. You know, once in a while, of course, there's people that actually work 40 years at one job, but that stuff's kind of drying up because the big companies don't like to keep people working that long anymore. You know, they don't like that. They don't want to have to be stuck with them and continue to take care of them, you know, with retirement or anything else. But anyways, so anyhow, I'm getting close to the lake, and you guys please look for the next video. It'll be me, what I'm going to shoot next from here, and probably put that up tomorrow. Also, I got a video on things went terribly bad for me. Super hot day. I just picked up my son and his buddy, and we went into Dick's Sporting Goods. I was buying some, whatever, 20 pairs of socks that I need, and I get the call, plumbing back up at my barber shop, restaurant, and getting serious. So boom, dropped everything, went to Home Depot, bought a auger, got the auger, got ready to ream this thing out myself, which was almost not going to happen because it was too long a stretch, but I had to try because I had to call out for 2 different big plumbing companies, and both of them told me 2 to 4 hours. So I was trying to do what I could. And that's another thing. If you ever have sewage coming up in a commercial property, just remember this. If it's coming up in the drain, you want to get outside, pop the sewer caps so the overflow goes outside, not inside. Pop the caps on your sewer cleanouts so that the sewage goes out, stays outside the building. Otherwise, it'll start coming up your floor drains inside the building. And so what I do is I pop those caps outside, and then I will take a washcloth and I will stuff it with a broom handle down into the drain inside the building. Keep it from coming up inside the building. So it's not fun. That's what you want to have to do. But you know what? You got to move fast sometimes. Just remember, you get rid of those